All right, joining us from London via Skype is a Global Affairs Analyst, Alistair Soyode. Alistair, good morning. It's good to have you join us now. It's quite obvious that people living with disabilities can do anything, just anything. But when we talk about the issue of social inclusion, this debate has been on for quite a while. How challenging is it to have this social inclusion as has been put forward by even the people living with disabilities and people generally?
Well, thank you very much for having me. As we rightly mentioned in the news outline there are more than 35 million people living with disabilities in the country. And the fact of the matter as well is it has been an ongoing process for the last maybe almost 10 years. And this year, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, signed the bill for the prohibition of that, and which was, I believe, in January this year. Now, the fact of the matter is there is a demand for a need for the social inclusion of people with disability. Fact of the matter as well is when given the opportunity and the chance, these people will definitely excel in their chosen field and their chosen career. One thing, of course, the stigma issue is prevalent all across the country because of the cultural background that people come from and the way that Nigeria has been stigmatizing people that have such issue. People sometimes might end up saying it's a cost on the family. That's why they have people with disability, but it's not. It's a natural thing that happens all around the world. So we hope that indeed, as the bill has already been passed, that the Nigerian government will make it will take a bold step to make sure that people and organizations implement and begin to include people with disability in career line, in their promotion, and more especially assisting them, even people on the street, not just necessarily the government.
All right. Now, with the law that has been assented to by the president you mentioned earlier on is one thing that was applauded in Nigeria from all quarters. Now, what do you see going forward when it comes to implementing the letters of those words beyond the ideals?
Well, we have to be realistic that Nigeria is not just on the issue of disability. When things are passed into law, it's very, very hard to make it happen. But I believe in this situation, the people with disability has to take the mantle upon themselves, supported by ordinary people, supported by other organizations that believe that this is very, very key. We just can't put them aside because they have disability. We have seen various people around the world with disability have become leaders, ministers all across the world. Nigeria should not be an exception. So really and truly, the government at state level, the government at national level has to make sure that the law that has been passed by the president is supported, and human rights organizations that believe in the call for the total inclusion of these people are taken on board. As we know, even places of work that has become very hard for people to move around in their wheelchairs have to be readopted. And the government and the bill as well has given them up to 5-year transformational or transitional period to begin to create that environment whereby people with disability will be able to use and enter cars, enter buildings, hospital, all different places that have to show that the bill indeed has become a law and a law that has to be enforced across the country.
All right, Alistair Soyode, thank you very much for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Alistair Soyode, good to have you join us at this time. Talking about not just giving fish, but teaching persons with disabilities how to fish. How can we incorporate this as a society, especially in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Nigeria, the most populous black nation and the economic power on the African continent, needs to lead by example. It is a grateful thing that the president, the incumbent president, has passed the bill into law for people not to be discriminated against people with disability. But we need to go beyond that because there's quite a lot of bills in the whole country that has been passed and nothing actually do happen. In this situation, we need to make sure that it is absolutely enforced. The law says for people who discriminate against people with disability, they can be fined and they can get a prison sentence. But I think it has to be endorsed for Nigeria to know that now we can play and become a global player like any other nation that allow people with disability to really function.
Well, we are very much a cultural society, and we still hold on to some age-long traditions that in themselves discriminate against some of these forms of disabilities. What would you say to Nigerians about getting rid of this, what some people have called a myopic view of these people?
Well, I guess it's a historical perspective on our nation, whereby our culture tends to dictate the life standard and the life living of our people. But true sense, we need to practice what has been done in other places, advanced nation, whereby a child may have a problem, an illness, a disability, and the parents will never really know, and they will think that the child is caused from birth. But this is not so. But apart from that as well, people with disability have become global players, especially now in sport, whereby in fact there has been a history, or some years ago, people with disability were the only sporting team that won gold medal for Nigeria at the Olympics. So we need to encourage them. We need to educate people as well at the local level, at the grassroots level, to tell them that when somebody comes and functions as if something is wrong from the norm, it's not like he's caused. It's basically mean that he has a disability. And people, human rights organizations need them to support government in what government is actually doing to rectify the situation. But as I said, it's something that we need a serious education. We need to educate our people. We need to enlighten them. And culturally, likewise, we need to educate people that it's not a cause. It's not something to do with witches and wizards. No, 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 no. It's a situation that happens to people at any age. Somebody may have an accident and then broke his leg. And then, of course, that person now somehow has become a person with disability. But again, they are enlightened. Most of them are educated, or not necessarily in terms of academic qualification, but they know what they want. And if given the opportunity, they will become power brokers within their community and within their career path.
Right, and considering that we are quite a religious society, do you see the religious institution play a role in ensuring social inclusion for persons living with disabilities?
Yes, absolutely. Nigeria depends on culture and followed by religion. Either you can say we are much more a religious nation than any other nation in the world. And the role of the imam, the pastors is absolutely key. But again, some people use this as a way of making their own career, gaining money from their people who are vulnerable. And again, I'm sorry to say the government as well actually needs to come heavy on any faith-based organization that try to explore people rather than making these people become inclusive into their belief, into their faith, into the organization. And so we need to encourage them rather than discourage them as well at the same time. That actually when somebody has something, there is a lot of illness that is not known to our own people. But we must explore avenues, and the healthcare avenue, we must explore what international organizations are doing, and we must make sure that, yes, faith-based organizations do the right thing. There are many instances where the power of prayer has become effective, but apart from that, we must avoid where faith organizations explore people by gaining something, an upper hand above where it is. And again, for those who believe in their faith, the leaders and the founding fathers, or rather the deities, actually do heal people. But we must make sure that
Our Global Affairs Analyst, Alistair Soyode there, and thanks for speaking to us.